We'll see about if your system is not having enough memory or space, we can practice a Docker from the Docker Playground website. For that, we will go to Docker Playground labs-play.playwithdocker.com. Here we can click on login. For practice purpose, we can create our own account, sign up. Here we will use the temp mail instead of our mail. Here we'll copy the mail and we'll paste it here and we'll create the username. I am keeping the same after removing the domain name. I'm keeping the same password and I'm clicking on sign up. Now we can sign in with our newly created Docker credentials. I'll accept. Now we'll open this. If you see here, we can create our own instance. This will be the SSH. Inside our root folder, we don't have anything. We can create our own custom files using the editor. We can use the same Docker credentials and sign in our hub.docker.com. Now we can run our commands and practice Docker. It presents, yeah, we have the Docker version here. Now we will run a live instance of Jenkins and we will open the Jenkins in our browser. For that, I have already kept the commands handy. Otherwise, you can go into the hub.docker.com. Here you can search for Jenkins. You can go to the official Jenkins website of a Docker image. Here we will have like Docker pull Jenkins hyphen the tag name. The same thing I copied there. I'll execute this. Now it is pulling the image from the remote hub.docker repository. It will take some time. If you see our images, we have the Docker image. Now we will execute this and create a container based on the image. For that, here Docker run will execute the this image, and we are giving this name as Jenkins, and we are exposing the port to 8080 and 50,000 ports. Now we'll execute this. Yeah, if you see here, Docker image less, we have Docker image and Docker container. It will show the running instances of the container. Here we did not mention any ls or logs or anything, so that's the reason it is showing like to execute the Docker container command usage. Now it will show all the running containers. We have only one container ID. And next thing is We can execute another command to check the running instance like docker ps. The docker container ls and docker ps will be similar. And now we can execute. How I know this path is, you can always go to docker logs and container id oe1. Yeah, if you see here, you can found this on this particular path. For that we can execute this command. Here Jenkins means nothing but the name of the container. Yeah, if you see here, these both values are same. When you will use this value is when you connect this particular 8000 5000 ports. Yeah, it is opening on the 8080 port, and now we need to copy the key from here and continue. Now we can install our all the suggested plugins from the docker. It will take some time. In this docker playground website you can practice all your linux as well. Now all the plugins are downloaded, then we can get our Jenkins instance up and ready to use. We can create our credentials if required. At present, if we want, we can create our own credentials. At present, I don't want to create my thing. I'll just skipping the instance. It will be our Jenkins configuration URL. I just want to use the Jenkins. Yeah, this is my Jenkins interface. Now I can create a like folder or pipeline or anything, and I can perform my Jenkins operations from this docker container image, docker image and containers. I hope this tutorial is helpful for your practice purpose. I'll stop this instance, docker container stop this id. Sorry, I did not remember this id, so that's the reason I'll use again docker ps. Okay, docker container stop or stop I can use. Oh, e1 docker ps. If you see here, no container is running. Okay, you can practice your own docker images or containers using this docker playground website. You can use the temporary mail if you are not comfortable with using your own personal mail. Thank you.